Hello everybody, welcome back once again. I've got another Triangle Strategy character guide for you. So this time we are going to talk Serenoa. I'm not actually doing these in my favorite list anymore. Although I think Serenoa is solid. It's not that he's like not one of my favorites or something, but and regardless, he's the main character, and almost every single battle he is required for. So he better be good, right? So let's talk a little bit about why he's good, what's good to do with him, how to use him, blah blah blah, all the things. Strength is decent. He's not like the most strong character in the game, but he's pretty decent. Physical defense is okay, right? He's middle of the road. Magic attack is a little on the low side, but not horrible. Really, that's not going to come into effect anyway unless you're throwing the magic items, right? Next up is the magic defense. He's just, he's the middle of the road for sure. Now, luck though is where it gets a little bit weird. He has a really good luck stat. I've actually increased it just by a little bit with the luck bracelet, and then I've got the critical necklace on him. So the reason why I did this is because sure, it's actually pretty easy to get around enemies' backsides with Serenoa because he's pretty durable. And a lot of times you'll be able to survive, although that's not the case with everybody, and it's not the case with every scenario, though, either. But what I like to really do, and one of the reasons why I like having his luck stat so high, is that I use Hawk Dive a lot. Like, definitely by far more than any other ability of his. Probably 75% of his actions are either going to be just using a basic attack or using a Hawk Dive. And a lot of times, Hawk Dive, you actually want to be using a Hawk Dive from a safe spot, and you're not necessarily going to be behind the enemy. And so, you're going to need, if you want it to crit, you're going to need, the luck to back you up. And so, the luck bracelet, along with his natural luck stat, means that he's going to be critting a lot with Hawk Dive, and that's also why I've got the critical necklace on him. There's a case to be made for giving this to somebody that is, going to be, getting behind enemies a lot more often, but that's rare in hard mode. It's just really tough to, you really want to be playing defensively in hard mode, and being able to Hawk Dive from a distance and having the luck to back it up is just great. And so he'll be, slaughtering with Hawk Dive when he crits because of that. So that's my opinion on how to equip him. There was a lot of times in the game, though, where I actually did have him equipped with the, what was it? I always forget the name of this thing now because I never equip it anymore. So let's zip through this list. Golden Pinky Ring. So increases the chance of enemies dropping spoils when defeated. And actually, let's do that here. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm gonna equip it where the luck bracelet is, and I'll just show you. One of the earliest levels here is, what is the name of this? Close Quarters Combat. This is the level 10 mental monk battle, so I'm gonna slaughter this stuff, but I actually just wanted to show you this because it was one of the earliest opportunities to farm. It was the tier 2 weapon upgrade components, and it's really good for cash as well. So basically, when you first hit this mental monk battle, you probably won't be able to do this solo with Serenoa, but it's not too much later, and you'll be able to. And one of the reasons why why this one is so good is because it is really easy. And I think once you hit about level 13, maybe 14, I should watch my video again. I actually have a video on farming this place really early on. But you'll get to a certain point where it's really viable to just come in here solo and annihilate everything. Basically, I was doing this. I'd go in here, light wave him here, and then I'd use critical blow usually. And then let's just do a sweeping splash. So I'm gonna just annihilate everything, right? But there, the Golden Pinky Ring is making it so that we're getting a ton of these spoil bags to drop. You can actually also bring in Lionel here if you're trying to get more cash, right? And and he can help you get, pick up the bags, and then Serenoa can just do the fighting. The other thing is, Serenoa is so strong doing things like this because he's actually able to counter as well. And so that can make it so that he can kind of sustain really well and keep dealing damage even when it's not his turn. Whereas a lot of other people can really struggle to do this in a I don't know if I would say sustained well, but they're just they're not going to be they need to deal they're only going to be able to deal damage on their turn again because they can't counter. So that's one of the other reasons why Serenoa is so good. I'm not obviously picking up many of these bags, but I just wanted to show you that level because that's one of the earliest and really great opportunities for Serenoa to farm. Let's see. One of the other things that you can do that really helps you out in that level is to use, I forget the name of this now. There's another accessory that's fantastic for that level. It's the one that's going to heal him whenever he kills something. Not endurance. Although endurance earring would be okay, right? Is it? Oh, red anklet. I must have it equipped on somebody. I think it was red. It was red something. Red cape? Does that sound right? Let's see if I can find it here. Red scarf. Yeah, recover HP when you defeat an enemy. I don't remember where you get this in the game, but that's a really good accessory. The other thing is Serenoa gets it in his kit, but I think was it a level 3? I think it's a tier 3 weapon ability. Yeah, route and recover. And I actually, there was a while. All right, so let's actually go over all of his different. I should actually. I'm jumping too far ahead. Let's go through his actual abilities, but yeah, wow. Trying to get ahead of myself here. Oops. There we go. All right, so his regular attack, power is 229. That's not too bad. Delaying strike, though, this is actually really good, and especially against bosses. Bosses are so fast, and being able to delay them is really, really strong. So he's great for that. Travis is really good for it as well. Travis is actually a little bit better because he can hit multiple characters with it, but Serenoa's is really good. And then next up here, he's got Pursuit Stance that says increase the accuracy of and damage dealt by follow-up attacks. So, I mean, that's just a great passive, right? If he can, if you can position yourself right, you can get some good follow-ups with Serenoa. Follow-ups are generally not all that strong, but, the passive is better to have than not having it. And then, as I was saying, Hawk Dive is, in my opinion, his best skill. It's very strong. Power is 297. There is a weapon skill that increases the range of this, which is very much the best of those weapon skills. We'll go over that in a little bit here, but I love Hawk Dive. Again, I think probably like 75% of the time I'm using that. Otherwise, I'm just using like a regular attack, right? Because I don't have enough TP to use Hawk Dive. Counter Stance is great. Chance to deal a counter attack when attacked by an adjacent enemy. That's another. Again, it's one of the reasons why he's so good at farming that one level there, that level 10 mental mock battle, because he can just roll in there solo, or even with again like a Lionel, so that Lionel can pick up the bags, but he can just deal a ton of damage. Sometimes he'll counterattack, kill an enemy, and then if you've got the red scarf on, you'll restore the health. And so that's why he's a monster in there. And it's not every character, right, that can counter. I think it's only Serenoa, Eridor, and is it Maxwell? There might be some other ones that can. I guess Groma can kind of counter, right? She can counter, I think, when she evades or something like that. But it's one of the, it's rare that characters that can actually do that, so it's actually really good. Sweeping Slash. Deal physical damage to all enemies within range. Very rare for a melee character to be able to do any sort of like AoE. You know, Travis gets that impeding strike, but that's not an AoE. It's more of a cleave. Same with like Hasubara. So this is good, but I actually do think Hawk Dive is better, and I used Hawk Dive quite a bit more. Sweeping Slash is great for if you know you're going to stomp the enemies, right? Like, again, in that mental mock battle where you can just run into the middle of everything and annihilate. But most of the time, Sweeping Slash isn't going to be as good as a Hawk Dive. And the Hawk Dive, you know, is stronger, so it's good for focusing enemies down. Strength in numbers, this is just a nice passive, right? Increases your strength when allies are nearby. And I mean, playing on hard mode, you're really going to be always next to your allies anyway. So, you know, I guess keep that in mind. It's just a good passive. Shielding stance, honestly, I never really used this that much. There was a time here or there where, you know, maybe Eridor was standing out in front and taking hits, and you know, using shielding stance on, you know, Eridor makes it so that it's harder to spike him down, but also that does mean that, you know, two characters are taking damage. So it's just kind of a way to, and also, like, let's just say, you know, Eridor is about to take, or like if you're trying to tank a boss and you know the boss is going to hit really hard, you can just use shielding stance to spread some of that damage out to, you know, Serenoa and make sure that they don't get spiked down. Otherwise, it's, you know, good for protecting, you know, squishier characters. The problem, though, is Serenoa, you know, isn't super tanky, and so he's going to be taking a lot of damage because of this too. So it's rare that I use that. Again, it was like, you know, 75% of the time was Hawk Dive, maybe 5% of the time, and even that seems a little bit much. I would use something like Shielding Stance. But Under Conviction's banner. Now, when I initially bought this, I was kicking around whether or not I should have got this or his Route and Recover, because these are both, you know, weapon abilities, tier 3 weapon abilities specifically. And I think, you know, there were times where I was like, man, I really wish I would have went with Route and Recover, but I think at the end of the day, I think it was better to go with Under Conviction's banner, especially if you're using a lot of mages. The mages in this game have TP issues, and you know, Frederica less so. Corentin is amazing because of his his ability to be able to, you know, keep you know, his TP generation in a little bit better spot. But like Izana, Narv, really only those. It's really those two have it really bad. Izana and Narv have major TP issues, right? Where it's usually the case that if you don't have somebody helping them out, like a Medina or a Yulio, they're going to run out. And so, you know, somebody even like Serenoa can help out a little bit. The problem with this, as you can see, is it's very, very expensive, but the range is gigantic. It's 1 to 3, so you know, it's pretty easy to set up good banners in the game where he's hitting, you know, lots of your characters. So, you know, somebody like, you know, giving a little bit of TP to Benedict so he can use a 2-fold turn, or again, Narv, Izana, you know, so that they can keep casting and they don't have to just sit around, is really good. So I actually really do like that ability. I think that this is, I wasn't as fair to it, I think, as I initially or should have been. So, also, I don't think I really, did I not talk about his speed? Yeah, I don't think I talked about his speed. 26 is okay. It's not, you know, horrible, but it's not that great either. I kind of actually wish Serenoa was a little bit faster, but I also didn't really ever do anything about it. I never equipped him with speed items, so I guess I didn't find it, you know, unusable or something like that. His evasion is a little bit above average. You know, a 57 is not too bad, but still not like, you know, Milo or Piccoletta levels of evasion. So you still can't really count on him evading things. And then his jump is good. Actually, his jump is average. That's the average jump of a character. And then movement 5. That's pretty standard too. So yeah, that is it for his abilities and his weapon skill. Let's actually talk his weapon upgrades. I think that with Serenoa, I don't think I'm gonna go into a battle and do like, okay, these are the great combos, right? Because the skills are really honestly self-explanatory. The only thing would be like the banner, right, and giving, you know, multiple people enough TP so that they can keep going. That's pretty great. All right, so let's talk his weapon upgrade and his weapon upgrade path. Again, I always played on hard mode, and so I'm going to be speaking really in terms of hard mode. I think that the first upgrades that you really want to get are the physical and magic defense upgrades. And then probably the weapon damage, maybe then go HP, and last I would upgrade the luck. I mean, 1 point of luck is just, you're not gonna notice that. So, you know, I would definitely not prioritize that at all. For his second set of upgrades, I guess, there's a case to be made for doing the Hawk Dive range first, and that's my recommendation, is actually the Hawk Dive range. The crappy thing about him is these are ores, right? So there's a couple of characters in the game where you have to choose one of 2 abilities. It's a shame that you can't get both, because you know, so increasing the damage dealt by Delaying Strike would be nice, but I think the Hawk Dive range is way better. Excuse me, I had a cough there. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Again, it's go with Hawk Dive range first. Then I would go with the weapon potency, then the HP, and then finish up with luck, because again, luck 2, who cares, right? You're just not going to notice this stuff. And the other stats and abilities are going to be significantly more important. Last up here for his weapon abilities, I did go with the Convictions banner first, and I'll be honest. Now that I think about it a little bit more, I think that was the better of the upgrades. The problem with Route and Recover is, especially earlier on in the game, I mean, it's good. It's not that it's ever a bad thing, but towards the end of the game, you know, I don't know, you're not probably going to be getting so many killing blows that, you know, you're going to be super sustainable with Serenoa. If Serenoa gets hit, you probably need to heal him with somebody, right? So I don't really think that Route and Recover is maybe as good as I had thought at one point. I mean, I'm not saying it's not good, but I think that Convictions banner is probably better. And again, more because you can fuel your mages and keep them going, you know, and throwing out a couple more spells here and there because of it. So, and then lastly, actually, I think that I would do weapon damage to last. I would do banner first, then Route and Recover, then the weapon damage for the last upgrade. I think the problem with these weapon upgrades is I just generally never really noticed that much of a difference. I wasn't like, oh my god, you know, I'm doing so much more damage now. It's just not really the way that it ends up working out. So, anyways, that is my take on Serenoa. You know, great overall character, not a master of any one thing. Again, though, abuse Hawk Dive, get the extra range on it, and stay safe, and dive people and crit on them with that. So. Anyways, that is going to be it for this one. As always, hope the guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.